Live from downtown Macon, this is WGXA News live on YouTube.
Good evening, Middle Georgia. I'm Amanda Peralta.
And I'm Greg Lloyd. Amanda and I thank you for watching WGXA News at 5:30. Our top story tonight, one family is awarded $40 million in a wrongful death lawsuit against Atrium Health Navicent.
Tonight we take a look at the details behind the health system's latest lawsuit loss.
A woman's health crisis started in Sumter County and ended on the way to Atlanta after a stop here in Macon. According to court documents, the parents of Nikevia Sanford filed that suit claiming gross negligence while caring for their daughter, leading to her death at 25 years old. She sought attention in November 2017 at Phoebe Sumter Medical Center for sickle cell pain. She was sent home twice as her condition worsened, and no examination was done by a physician until her third visit when she was transferred to Navicent in Macon. When she made it to Macon, medical staff determined that they were unable to take care of her and tried to get her transferred to Grady Hospital in Atlanta. She died the next day during that transfer. The jury awarded her parents $35 million and her estate another $5 million. The jury placed 50% of the blame on the medical center. The other 50% of the blame was placed on medical staff in Americus. In a statement to WGXA News, Atrium Health says the loss of young life is always tragic, and we continue to extend our deepest condolences to Ms. Sanford's family for their loss. While we thank the jury and the court for their time and consideration, we respectfully disagree with the outcome of this case. In the coming days, we will be carefully reviewing and considering our appeal options. This is the third multi-million-dollar verdict against the medical center. They paid out $9 million in February and almost $5 million in April. For more details on all of these cases, go to WGXA.tv. Well, following the Board of Elections' move to the Macon Mall, their former office will not sit vacant for long. Planning and Zoning Commission is expected to approve a proposal to convert the Pioneer Avenue location into a combination office and warehouse space for a company that specializes in shower door closet systems and bath hardware installation. They say the location will not be a storefront. They plan on working with major developers rather than individual customers.
And the Chick-fil-A in North Macon is set to be demolished and rebuilt. New plans call for a 2-lane drive-through with an expanded layout for 130 seats and almost 60 parking spaces. This comes after the company bought almost an acre of land at the Sonny Carter Elementary School for $750,000 back in December. No date for construction has been announced. The Planning and Zoning Commission is expected to approve the project at Monday's meeting.
And North Macon College has big plans to expand into downtown Macon. Wesleyan College plans to move its entrepreneurship program into a building on Cherry Street and is expected to be approved by Planning and Zoning on Monday as well. The school says the program will focus on creating a working relationship with the community and contribute to the downtown ecosystem. The space will also feature rotating art exhibits, lectures, student programs, and community events as well.
And in Dooley County, the school system announces a change in leadership after their current superintendent, Dr. Craig Lockhart, moves to Valdosta City Schools. Today, Dooley County school system leaders are welcoming Dr. Sherrod Williford as the new interim superintendent of schools. He most recently served as the assistant superintendent of schools and principal of Dooley K through 8th Academy. In a statement, Dr. Williford says in part that he looks forward to moving the district forward. So far, district officials have not said anything publicly about the search for a permanent superintendent or how long the search may take.
Now, one man is in custody and a woman in the hospital after a fire this morning on McKinley Drive in Macon. Not much has been shared about the blaze, but deputies say the woman is in the hospital for non-fire related injuries. Fire investigator Kyle Murray says crews were quickly able to extinguish the flames on the 5700 block of McKinley Drive. No one else was inside the home when the fire started. The cause of it, though, remains under investigation.
And Warner Robins police say this woman is behind bars for stabbing another woman during a fight on Houston Lake Road. They say 31-year-old Kayla Hefner stabbed the 21-year-old Regine Head with a pair of scissors during that fight. She now faces aggravated assault charges. The victim was treated and released from the local hospital.
WGXA's Project Macon has been exploring so-called victimless crime. crimes. But these are cases now where a person is harmed but refuses to cooperate with the Bibb County Sheriff's Office. And leaders say it's the first step in a cycle of crime.
Tonight, we want to hear from you. Scan the QR code on your screen and have your voice heard. Should uncooperative victims be penalized for not working with law enforcement?
In the meantime, our Brittany Miller sat down with the Sheriff's Office to learn more about what it's doing to stop that cycle that staying silent creates.
In 30 days' time, 7 men were shot in Macon and refused to have the violence against them investigated. Macon's district attorney, Anita R. Howard, says the lack of cooperation happens for a number of reasons, including a lack of trust in law enforcement.
You often see a decline in cooperation in marginalized communities, of color, Black and brown communities, impoverished communities.
Howard says building trust should be a priority, and leaders for the Bibb County Sheriff's Office say for them, it is.
Because we can't do this by ourselves. We have to have partnerships with our community.
Major Tony Williams has been in law enforcement for 30 years, all of which he spent in Macon-Bibb. He believes distrust in Macon occurs in small pockets of the community or just with individuals, like those 7 people who weren't willing to talk to deputies. According to Williams, refusing to allow the sheriff's office to investigate causes a bigger problem.
I don't think it's beneficial for them or to them, because individuals will then take matters into their own hand. And that situation only gets worse.
The major and the DA both say a number of the crimes that come to their desks are those done in retaliation, which leads to a cycle of crime.
I had an aggravated assault. That aggravated assault turns into another aggravated assault. That turns into a murder because victim 1 wouldn't share that information.
Because Major Williams recently moved to the patrol division, he wasn't familiar with the 7 cases of uncooperation that Project Macon has explored. But what he is familiar with is community policing. The philosophy, as he explains, makes crime fighting possible.
The key is to have somebody to call you before a problem starts. If we can get there and if we can make a footprint or have a presence before a problem, it's better for that community, it's better for us.
Though making that footprint in areas that have a strained relationship with the sheriff's office is likely a tough task, Williams says restoration starts with just one person at a time.
I don't have to go into no particular section of Bibb County and win everybody. I just need to win one person in there or 2 people. If I can get you to trust me, you're gonna share it to others in that community. I may not be able to articulate it in a way that you may accept it, but if I get you on board, you will be able to explain it to everyone else.
Reporting for Project Macon, Brittany Miller, WGXA News.
At Home had to say. Now 46% believe that yes, victims should be penalized if they do not cooperate, and 54% say that no, they should not be penalized.
The University of Georgia is among the research institutions working to fight rising suicide rates among American farmers and ag workers. Tonight, we learned what needs to happen both off and on the farm to bring needed change. Dr. Christina Proctor, one of the UGA researchers looking to understand and stop growing suicide rates among Georgia's farmers and ag workers, says now that we know the problem exists, it's up to all of us to work to change it.
We have a group of people that make up 1% or less than 1% of our population who are feeding the rest of us. So I think we need to just let them know how much we appreciate them.
One way we can all make a difference is not just by offering kind words, but by displaying kind actions.
In the interviews that we conducted, a lot of our farmers talked about not feeling appreciated, right? You know, people honking their horns at them when they're on their tractors driving down the road and like yelling at them, you know, for just trying to do their job. You know, we had farmers who were publicly embarrassed on social media because their livestock and their goats had gotten out. So people creating this unnecessary stress and feeling like those who aren't part of the farming population don't really understand what they are doing for us.
The biggest change that needs to happen, Proctor says, is better access to mental health care resources.
And it is a real need, like, again, if we have farmers who want to talk about mental health or admit that that they need help, and then there's no resources for them, there's really not a lot that we can do there.
Proctor says those who interact with farmers the most can take steps to offer them more support.
Veterinarians, extension agents, bankers, farm equipment dealers, people working in local feed and seed stores should consider getting training in mental health first aid, so they can be able to recognize somebody who might be experiencing a mental health issue.
Most farmers surveyed said if they did decide to address mental health concerns, they'd turn first to their family physicians. And Proctor says doctors need to offer them complete understanding.
They also reported having physicians that didn't really understand what it was like to be a farm owner or a farm worker. Doctors telling them to take 2 to 3 weeks off of work to deal with an injury or an illness, and that's something that a farmer couldn't do. And so they were less likely to go back and seek help.
Proctor adds, we all need to work together as well to promote the truth about mental health care, that seeking help for mental health is not a sign of weakness, but it's a sign of strength.
Well, it's been another rainy day over parts of the mid-state, but change is finally on the way.
Oh, finally. We'll take it, won't we, Amanda? Meteorologist Ryan Miranda joins us with a preview of what we can expect this weekend. Ryan.
Yeah, Greg, Amanda, it's even the first weekend of summer. It's definitely going to be feeling like it as the pattern, that wet weather is finally moving out. We still do have a few isolated showers and storms right now. That line that I was tracking moving through Johnson and portions of Washington County is really beginning to rain itself out. So portions over Wrightsville kind of been coming down right now, and most areas are dry. Tracking still this one cell that's really been sitting still, moving just east of Marshallville, about to move over 75 in Perry. May get some sprinkles here before that also rains itself out. The good news with this is the flood watch that was issued for our area for the next 3 hours or so has been expired due to drier air that's been filtering in. This low pressure is grabbing the moisture, throwing it up to the northeast. This dry orange brown is what's moving in for our area right in time for the weekend. It's looking a lot brighter. A live lookout over Dublin, though. We aren't having any rain right now, but we can see some of that rain shaft off in the distance. That's for portions of Johnson County. So for the rest of your Friday night, most areas clear. Could have an isolated shower or storm or two. 73 degrees at 10 o'clock. But there's a system right now in the tropics, a setup that we haven't seen in 55 years. We'll talk more about that in your full forecast. Greg, Amanda.
Thank you, Ryan. It's a great time to download the WGXA weather app. Ryan is back shortly with your full forecast.
President Biden is joining with pro-choice groups Friday to rally voters 1 year after the Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade, sending the abortion issue back to the states to decide, and they are deciding.
Red states are passing strict abortion laws, while blue states are opening up abortion access, and that impact is far-reaching. Madeline Rivera reports tonight from Washington.
Last year, a monumental Supreme Court decision overturning 50 years of precedent shook the country's landscape. On the anniversary of that ruling, Americans are still navigating the consequences without Roe v. Wade, at times making tough decisions.
It's always hard moving to a new place.
Dr. Kylie Cooper is a maternal fetal specialist. She and her family were based in Idaho until the state passed a near-total abortion ban. Cooper was worried.
The real risks of getting charged with a felony, the real risks of prison, and how that would look for my family and for my career.
So she packed up and moved with her family to Minnesota. Cooper is not alone. About 20% of OBGYNs say they felt constrained in their ability to care for miscarriages and other pregnancy-related medical emergencies since Roe v. Wade was rolled back.
We all truly just want to care for patients and do the right thing for them.
Democrats are using the issue to drive voters to the ballot box. But several Republican presidential candidates are doubling down, saying the highest court made the right call.
Let's also pray for our Supreme Court justices as they weather the storm of criticism for protecting innocent life.
The Planned Parenthood Action Fund endorsed President Biden's re-election on Friday, underscoring how important the issue is to Democrats in 2024. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, WGXA News.
The director of the 1997 film Titanic says he's struck by similarities between the sinking of the actual ship in 1912 and the recent implosion of the Titan submersible, trying to tour the wreck.
A great, almost surreal irony here, which is Titanic sank because the captain took it full steam into an ice field at night on a moonless night with very poor visibility. After he had been repeatedly warned by telegram, by Marconigram, by radio, during the day, that's what was ahead of him.
Cameron is referring to several concerns expressed in recent years to the company that designed the Titan submersible, OceanGate. He says in both cases, people died as a result of unheeded warnings.
One of those warnings coming from an expert who heard a cracking noise as the vessel and warned OceanGate back in 2019. According to the New York Times, a submersible expert named Carl Stanley emailed Stockton Rush urging him to cancel all trips planned that summer. Stanley has operated a tourist submersible in Honduras for 25 years. He says Rush never directly responded to the email, but did make a few adjustments to the Titan. Rush was one of the 5 on board when the Titan imploded.
After a very active week, the first weekend of summer of 2023 is looking really nice. It's going to be seasonal and sunny tomorrow with a high of 92 degrees, lots of sunshine, really no rain chances for the weekend. On Sunday, it's a little bit warmer, still hot, 94 degrees, but that muggy humidity is really going to be around the whole weekend, but at least we're keeping a lot of the sunshine around. Currently 83 degrees in Macon, 78 in Roberta, 82 in Edenton, 82 also down in Eastman, and 74 right now in Perry, getting some of that rain. And we still are dealing with a few pop-up showers and storms. They've really beginning to kind of rain themselves out. Just some isolated activity for us, but a wider view showing that upper level low is continuing to push farther to the north and east. Kind of that spin in the atmosphere is moving farther away from us, and that's going to take a lot of the moisture with it, but that humidity is still going to be in place really straight through the weekend. So on radar right now, we're not seeing a whole lot of showers and storm. This was the heaviest downpour that's been moving through Johnson County over Wrightsville. It's really beginning to rain itself out. So for the rest of tonight, we could have an isolated pop-up shower or storm, but not expecting a lot of rain with more drier air that's filtering on through. So the rest of your Friday night, it's comfortable, seasonable, 65 degrees, any of your plans, you should be good to go. You may see a storm or two, but really not expecting a lot of rain, especially now that the sun is beginning to set and go down. But really going to keep that humidity straight through the weekend. Dew points into the upper 60s and low 70s. Even as we head towards the beginning of next week, we could be nearing the sweltering category with that summer heat back firmly in place. So a day on the lake tomorrow, it's looking really nice. 66 degrees at 7 o'clock under bright sunshine, 86 at 1 o'clock, 89 degrees at 4, going for a high of 92 degrees. Of course, don't forget the sunscreen tomorrow, maybe in the sunglasses and hats, especially for the kids as well. But what's going on in the tropics right now? A very unique setup. We've got 2 simultaneous tropical storms, Tropical Storm Brett and Cindy. This usually doesn't happen this early in the season. The last time this happened in the month of June was in 1968, 55 years ago. So a very unique setup going on. These are both heading into an area of some high wind shear, meaning they're likely not going to intensify much more. Brett will move into the southern Caribbean as we're going to keep watching Cindy, but likely will not be impacting us really here in the short term whatsoever. So in your 10-day forecast, very nice weekend for the first one of summer, seasonable and sunny, 92 degrees for your Saturday, hot and muggy on Sunday with a high of 94 degrees, but those dew points still going to be into the upper 60s and low 70s, that measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So it is definitely going to be very humid over the weekend, but it's staying dry. Our next biggest rain chance will come on Monday night with some gusty thunderstorms from a cold front. 93 degrees for the high. That should come in the evening, so most of the day is dry, but we're watching that front to be coming on through. And then it turns really the opposite of what we had this week with not a lot of rain chances, a lot of sunshine, breezy and bright on Tuesday, winds gusting up to about 15 miles per hour. We'll keep those low 90s very seasonable with a lot of sunshine, and then we're heating up next Friday with a high of 96 degrees under a mixture of sun and clouds. Lastly, here's your Harrison's Body Shop fishing game forecast. Peaks at 6:20 a.m. and 7:20 p.m.
Central Georgia, it's Game Changer Friday, which means it's time to highlight an athlete that's doing phenomenal things in the community.
Yeah, Amanda, this week we're highlighting a middle schooler who's helping to change the lives of people through community activities. Let's head out to Carlos Stevens to find out who the Game Changer is. Carlos.
Hey guys, it's Kennedy Lightfoot from right here at Mountain Sales Academy, and this young lady's impact on the community is truly something special. Take a look.
gives 100% hustle.
And Kennedy Lightfoot hustle goes far beyond her books and athletic ability. Her hustle involves impacting the lives of people with developmental disabilities. According to Lightfoot, her and her mom takes them to do several activities like bowling, to the fair, and more. Lightfoot says the reason behind her volunteer work is simple.
God always says it's better to give than receive, so we just like to help people.
Lightfoot says people with disabilities should never be treated different. They all deserve to be cared for.
You can't just judge them by how they look.
And while caring for those with disabilities may seem like hard work, Lightfoot says it's a much different story for her and her family.
They keep you happy, and people think that they're just like not able to do much, but they're actually able to do a lot.
But how do they keep Lightfoot happy?
They always give people hugs. They always want to talk to you, and they always just laugh with you.
Head varsity basketball coach John Allman believes that Lightfoot leadership at such a young age has her destined for greatness.
Kennedy has a bright future at Mount DeSales, and then after Mount DeSales, if she chooses to go on and play at the next level, she has got a very good chance and a bright future in basketball.
And while her coach believes she has a successful road ahead, Kennedy credits her mom for all of it.
And she just shows that if you put your heart into something, you can become successful in anything that you try, but you have to fail to be able to achieve something.
And that's your game changer of the week. Congrats, Kennedy. Central Georgia, thank you for supporting these athletes by nominating them. But of course, keep the nominations coming. Now, before I toss it back to you guys in the studio, I have another game changer that I want to highlight. That is my grandmother. She's celebrating her 90th birthday this weekend. And of course, I'll be right there with her. So, Grandma, we're wishing you a very happy birthday this weekend. For now, we're live here in Macon. I'm Carlos Stevens, WGXA News, guys.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Thigpen. I'm here again today at Bibb County Animal Services, and you know we do this every day, Monday through Friday at this time, to adopt some very beautiful dogs out to some loving homes, and I'm joined today again with Elvin and Audrey. And Elvin, who are we showcasing today?
Well, here we have Carly. Carly's about a year old, sort of a pit bull mix. She's about 41 pounds. Very, very sweet dog, very calm dog, but also a little bit energetic. So she's very fun.
So if you got a fenced-in backyard or you got kids, I think she would be great with that to run some energy off. You said she's what, about a year old?
About a year old, that's right.
All right, and a pit bull mix? All right, if that's what you're looking for, Carly is down here. And now, if someone would like to adopt Carly, how do they go about doing that?
They can contact me at 478-972-4975, or they can reach us through Facebook.
All right, guys, let's do that today. Let's find Carly a really good home. She needs that. Thank you so much, Elvin and Audrey.
Thank you, Gary. And happening this weekend, Macon Trulieve is hosting a patient certification event to help people apply for Georgia medical cannabis cards. Now, that event kicks off at 10 tomorrow and lasts until 2.
There will be an on-site doctor to provide appointments to teach people about Georgia's medical cannabis program and receive a low THC oil card if they have a qualifying condition. If you're interested, don't forget to bring your $150 certification fee, your printed medical records, and Georgia driver's license or ID card.
Downtown Macon is seeing a little more green after today.
Keep Macon Bibb Beautiful planting almost 30 new trees in the area. They planted different varieties across the landscape, and the executive director of the nonprofit says it's one of many ways to make our city better.
Important to keep our city clean, green, and beautiful, and this is just one of many steps that's being taken through Macon Bibb County and Keep Macon Bibb Beautiful to beautify our city.
The group planted 23 Brandywine maple trees, 3 Okami cherry trees, and 2 Robinson crabapple trees. And you know, guys, that's something you can say for Macon Bibb. They do keep it beautiful, and they always keep improving, you know? Always good things going on.
Yeah. Trees are like always so important too, especially once we're getting towards summer, it's like really hot and they create some shade.
They provide awesome shade.
It's
They
true.
really do.
I throw some shade too sometimes.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. Well, that's going to do it before he throws any at me, that's going to do it for WGXA News at 5:30.
We invite you to join us at 6 on ABC 16 in just a few minutes.
Like and subscribe. See you there.